but I'm proud of you, and I'm really especially proud of the job you've done from day one. He and his partner Ross have been writing really great speeches, and I just wish I stuck with them a little bit more often. But we go on and off those speeches, right? And I think ultimately that's the best combination, right? So one of the greatest in the world, the two of those guys, the greatest. Then we have a man who, to me, this is the most interesting story. Boy, do you look like Ivanka? Has anyone ever told you that? I'm saying, is that Ivanka? Could you just turn around for the camera? Does she look like Ivanka? It's the most unbelievable thing. I didn't want to take a chance. I say, is that Ivanka? You look just like Ivanka. Which is a great compliment, actually. So we have a doctor in the White House named Dr. James Jones. Can I tell the story? And he's a great doctor, highly respected by so many people. He's helped so many people. I've had people come to the White House and they were so sick. I've had people come to the White House along with your partner. You have a lot of partners. You have Walter Reed Medical Center, which I think is the best in the world. They've seen things that nobody wants to see, right? They have, doctors have told me, if you can get out of here, you've seen it all. And that's why they produce some of the best doctors in the world. Well, Dr. James Jones is a great doctor, and he was the White House doctor during the Obama administration and during the Trump administration. And I guess during a little bit of, those two? Because we had somebody else named Doc Ronnie who actually got a glimpse of Obama in there too. Is that Doc Ronnie back there? No? Doc Ronnie, did all three. And he said Trump is in the best health of all. Sure. He had Bush. He had Obama. He had Trump. He didn't have Biden. He didn't have Biden. But Dr. James went on a trip to Peru with the two Obama girls. They wanted to go hiking in Peru. Was it Peru? In Peru, and it's known for being a rather rough place in terms of physical creatures crawling around. 28,000 people a year die from a snake bite. A certain snake. It's a viper, right? It's said to be the most poisonous snake in the world, and he made a comment and somebody else told him, that's very dangerous in that area to go hiking. And the guide said, oh, don't worry, we never see that snake. It's over-exaggerated. Even though 28,000 people a year die, that's not over-exaggerated, because when they lift the rice and the this and the that out of the water, they get hit, and if you get hit, it's automatic death. So he goes out and he's in your last day, right? You're getting ready to come back. For 2 weeks, they're traipsing around in Peru, and he's got to follow them because he's the White House doctor, and he's with the two young ladies who I'll bet are nice. You actually said they were very nice young ladies, too. I'll bet they are. And final day, final 2 hours, he gets hit by a viper, right? This is a terrible Christmas story, but it's a hell of a story because I'll tell you what happened. He gets hit with a viper, and the viper missed him. It hit his jacket, a very thick jacket, and spread all of the venom all over the place. It went all over, but that wasn't good enough for the viper. The viper hit him a second time, and this time it got him on the arm. And so I think probably the only reason you made it, even though making it took him 2 years to make it. And, they read him the last rites. He was gone on 3 different occasions. They thought he was dead. And, it only takes a minute. And because of Doc Ronnie Jackson, he knew. They called in, and he was at the White House, and he knew from the description and the location what kind of snake it was, and they had the venom, just in case. But the venom rarely works. It's so powerful, this snake, it's said to be the most the black mamba, the brown mamba, and the viper from Peru. I'm sorry, by venom, do you mean the anti-venom? You do not want to play games, okay? And I'm telling this story because my son, Don, this is a hell of a... Did you hear this story, Don? And so... He's being read his rights, and they thought he was dead 3 times, 3 different times. They carried him out, feeding him the anti-venom. Okay, you got it there, congratulations. And over a period of months, he was unconscious for a long time, many weeks, and he made it. I asked him, how you doing today? He said, is it perfect? Look how quiet everybody is. You know, it's funny, when you talk about snakes and things like that people find it interesting. Would anybody like to go to Peru and walk around the forest with, he says, no, thank you, no, thank you. I'll say, no, thank you. But, this was did they ever find the snake, by the way? Oh, they did find it. What did they do? You know, normally the environmentalists and the animal rights people would say, oh, leave it alone, it's such a wonderful okay, they usually say, leave it alone, such a wonderful, leave the sharks alone, don't touch the sharks, they're wonderful, I love the sharks, right? I don't feel that way, but that's okay. Just lost about 1 vote, that's all. But, so he got better. And here's the story. The purpose of the story is that he wrote a book 9 years ago. Would you say this was 9 years ago? 3 years. The book is 3 years old, and it was okay. It sold about 2 copies, but it had a hell of a cover, and it has a cover of the White House and this vicious snake, and it is vicious. Teeth like this, those fangs, those are not fangs you want to, sucking on your arm, right? As you had. By the way, what did you do when that snake was on your arm? You tried to get it off your arm, I guess, naturally. What was happening? You mean it hit you so hard that it knocked you out immediately? It's unbelievable. So he wrote a book 3 years ago, and the book was fine, it's like every other book. It didn't sell too much, but it was interesting. But I heard the story, and I'm fascinated by stories of wildlife, because I have a theory. Wildlife always wins. That's what my theory is. We can play games, I'm saying this for my son, by the way, because I have a son who would rather be in the jungle than any place on earth. When I kick the bucket someday, hopefully very soon, he'll be I figure, Bettina, I think he'll be here for about, 2 days. He'll go and pay his respects, and we'll say, where's Don? He'd rather be in some jungle or and he's a really good hunter. But remember this, wildlife always wins. Unfortunately, as in this case. Really? Did the wildlife win in this case? Because I think that would imply that Dr. Jones didn't make it, which he very much did, because he's there and answering your dumbass questions. So what happened? Dr. Jones wrote a book, and the book was amazing. I said, I want to get that book. I got it, and the cover is unbelievable. You'll see it on Truth Social. It's on Truth Social. I put out a statement that this book is great. This story is incredible. Took him like 2 years to recover, and I think he said he's lost something, but not up here. I don't care if you've lost something physically, but as long as the head is good. Did you lose anything from the brain? Okay, then that's all I care about. I don't give a damn about the use of your arm. That's so kind of you. Your wife is, your what? Oh, there, where's this one? Oh, look at that. Wow. Where is the wife of Dr. Jones? I just want to know, did he lose anything mentally? Because if he did, I no longer want him as my doctor. No, he's an unbelievable doctor. No, here's the bottom line. So you had this book. He gets a call 2 days ago. I put out a Truth Social yesterday. I sold a lot of bestsellers when I like people. I put it out. Great book. Picture of this viper coming, like boom, from the White House. And his publisher calls him, said, Doctor, what happened? What's going on? He said, did they sell 100,000? What's the number? They sold 100,000 books. It's the #1 bestseller. Can you believe it? No, I can't believe it. It's the #1 best-selling book. Can you believe that? So now you're a best-selling author. Now he can quit the White House. But anyway, he's a great doctor that was a terrible experience. I mean, you went through hell for years, right? And the power is incredible of animals, Power is incredible. You got hit. And we tell you, a lot of respect. The chances of living from that snake are substantially less than 1%. And that's only if you have the venom. Even if you have the venom, you don't live. And this guy's living. I think you mean the anti-venom, Donald. But I have a feeling that first blow missing, that was, I assume, there was a lot less going in, right? So, but it just... he said that the good Lord saved him. I can maybe say that too. Every once in a while, I get that throbbing feeling. I say, thank you very much, So we're maybe a similar position. I shouldn't be surprised because he did compare himself to Purple Heart veterans. But, Don, in your words, Dr. Jones almost died. He took like 2 years to recover, and you're really comparing a teeny tiny little ear cartilage scratch that is probably the pain equivalent of someone getting their cartilage pierced, which, by the way, people do all the time voluntarily. You're really comparing those two things? But, you're a great doctor, and I appreciate it. I just think it's an incredible story. Go buy his book. It's an incredible story. 100,000 books sold in a day and a half. That's incredible, right? It's an amazing story. I want to just explain a couple of things, and then I'm going to just leave by saying, have a great Christmas. But, our country is doing really well. We inherited a mess from Biden and the Biden administration, we had the worst inflation in the history of our country. The worst inflation in the history of our country. Prices were the highest they ever were. And what we're doing is bringing them down. We now have inflation is totally neutralized. We may get it a little bit lower. You don't want to go too low. You don't want deflation. Deflation is, in many ways, worse than inflation. But we have a record-setting. We have more people on Friday. We had more people working on Friday than at any time in the history of our country. Think of that. Wages have gone up by more than inflation. First time that's happened in many years. We are doing great. And prices are coming down. And the Democrats use this word called affordability. They look at the camera and they say, what are you going to do for affordability? They keep saying affordability. Well, they're the ones that cause the problem, okay? They're the ones that cause the problem. That's all they do. They're good at cheating in elections, very good at cheating. They're professionals at cheating because we won in 2016 by a lot. The election was rigged in 2020. We have all the ammunition, all the stuff, and you'll see it come out. It's coming out in truckloads. Do you have a time frame on that, Don? Will it be released along with the Epstein files or maybe in 2 weeks? But then we won again in 2024 with an election that we call too big to rig. And we were leading big in the polls, but I said, go out and vote. You got to go out and vote. Make it too big to rig. And that's exactly, they tried to rig it, but they couldn't do it. It was too big to rig, too many votes. And we won every swing state. We won by millions of votes. We won the popular vote. We won the electoral college. We won something else by a lot. We won something that was amazing, and that's called districts. Can someone please explain to this man how population distribution works? So the country is divided up into thousands of districts. We won 2,750 to 525. That's why when you look at a map of the election, the entire map is red, other than 2 little blue stripes along the outer edge with one is California, one's New York. In California's election, New York also, but California, more than any other place, is so rigged. It's such a rigged election. You know, we won the Hispanic vote. So a lot of people say Republican wouldn't win California, but I won the Hispanic vote. I won in Miami. Think of that. In Miami, I won the Hispanic vote. Along the Texas border, I won every single city or town touching the Texas border, and they're 85 to 90% Hispanic. We won the Hispanic vote. If the vote in California was legitimate, which it's not, they have 38 million ballots. Everything is mail-in voting. They mail out 38 million ballots, and they come in. Where the hell do they go? And where do they come from? It's a rigged election in California because we would win California by a lot. And again, they feel they have an advantage with Hispanic. They don't, because I won Hispanic vote. So we did something that was amazing. We made a comeback, and we got the most Republican votes in the history of elections. We won Texas by more votes than anybody's ever gotten to this. Well, I did number 1, number 2, and 3. All 3. I did in Texas and Alabama and many other states. We won in many states. We have the all-time record for votes, and it was just a great election. This was a great election. I don't know, do you think you could maybe stop fixating on something that happened literally over a year ago and try to fulfill your promise of bringing down prices? And you had long since recovered from the Viper bite, so you acknowledge that this was a great, because I said, I want that guy. That's my doctor. And it's true. And your partner's great. He's such a great guy. So I just want to, say, this was an amazing period of time. Our country has been turned around much faster than I thought. If you would have told me that 10 months in, we would have over 18 trillion, with a T, not billion, but $18 trillion coming in, and they're coming in. They're building car plants. They're building AI plants. They're building everything at a level that we've never seen, that no country has ever seen before. Now, I assume that's going to be it's already showing up, but I assume it's going to start showing up. I'll be picking a new head of the Fed soon. Our Fed person is absolutely... Despite him, we have numbers that really nobody's ever seen, Vince, right? Despite him, we have numbers that nobody's ever seen before. We're fighting through him. And we'll soon have a good head of the Fed who's going to want to see interest rates go down. But we're fighting through higher interest rates. But the interest rates are coming down despite him. He's an incompetent person who suffers from Trump derangement syndrome, okay? It's one of those little problems. We have many of them, but we're fighting through that stuff. And we have a country that potentially is geared to have the most incredible golden years ever. It's the golden age. I say it's the golden age of America. When these factories and plants open up by the thousands, Toyota just announced they're going to spend $10 billion building plants to make Toyotas. Really? They're not going to be making Hondas? So they're coming from Germany. They're coming from Japan. They're coming from Canada. Many factories are coming in because they don't have They don't want to pay tariffs. Very simple. They're coming in and they're spending they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars. Our car industry lost 58% of their capacity over the years. They went to Europe, they went to Mexico, Japan, they went all over. They went to South Korea. And now it's just the opposite. They're all coming back. We have an age that's coming up, the likes of which I don't think this country has never seen. And I just so look forward to the results. You're going to see results in 6 months to a year. I think you'll see results. We've never had anything like it. Again, there's never been any country. China, wonderful. I have a great relationship with President Xi. China's never seen it. Nobody's ever seen it. And by the way, we're leading in AI by a lot. AI is a big deal, and we're leading in AI by a lot. And the big problem is electricity, but I allow our plants. In other words, all these geniuses that are building a $60 billion plant, I allow them to build their own electric capacity as part of the plant, and that solved the problem with the old grid. So they're able to do things that nobody thought they'd be able to do. We're getting them very fast approvals, and many of those plants are, right now, being built. So we have things happening, like nobody's ever seen before. We have a great country. It's a great time to have Christmas. And I just want to introduce a person who's very outstanding. She is a great person, a highly respected woman. Every time I make a speech, I see signs. We love our First Lady. We love our First Lady. They love our First Lady. What can I do? I don't like it because I think they like her more than they like me, and I am not happy about it. I'm not happy. We're gonna have to have a discussion about this. But they love our First Lady. And, Melania did all these decorations, and she's gotten great reviews. The first year she did the trees, that's right. The first year 1, she did the trees that were white, and they were snow, beautiful, and the fake news hit her hard. The next year they were red, gorgeous red. They hit her hard. The next year they were another color. They hit her. I said, baby, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Make the trees green. Let them just be green. They're so beautiful. Let them be green. Anyway, she has gotten the greatest reviews I've ever seen, and nobody's ever gotten reviews like this for the White House. I actually like the white ones better, but what am I gonna? She's done a great job, and maybe I'll ask her to say a few words. She loves you all. Thank you very much. That one was a ride, a journey. And that was only like half of the speech.